What's up everyone, welcome to your 33rd tutorial in making a game. In this tutorial I'm going to teach you guys how to, if you successfully query your data, how to convert it from your temporary table to your user table. So the first thing you're going to want to do, I can't talk and type at the same time. You first want to make an if statement just so you can tell if your data is successfully queried or not, and this is really easy. Just make an if statement and put your variable result 1 inside it, and then make your curly braces, and inside here we're going to be writing our if statement. So let's do that. The first thing we want to do is count how many rows have the passkey. So how many rows have key? And to do this, just make a variable called count or something. And the function for this that's built in is my SQL underscore num underscore rows. And inside your parameters, you have to test where. So ours is stored in result 1. And this number count is going to return a number 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how many rows have the passkey. So after we do this, we want to make another if statement, and we want this is if passkey is in database, retrieve data. That's what this if statement is going to do, and this is even easier. So to do this, make an if statement, and let's add those. I just like to add those before I even fill in my parameters. Now let's put if count, if the variable count is exactly equal to the number 1. So if there's one passkey in the database, which it's going to happen unless like they messed up somehow. So if there is one instance of the passkey in our database, what do we want to do? The first thing we want to do is set a variable equal to rows. And I'll show you guys why this is necessary later. And you want to do my SQL underscore fetch underscore array. And this is a built-in function that well, I'll tell you guys what it does later. I don't want to confuse you. But you want to fetch result 1. The next thing you want to do is make another variable called, we'll name this name x, and we will set this equal to the place in the array where the variable is equal to rows and username. And as you can see, you guys can pretty much tell what MySQL fetch array is. It pretty much goes to wherever your rows is, and remember we set this equal to, well, how do I explain this? It takes the row of data and turns it all into variables. So it's going to take that row and it's going to take that username and make it a variable. I'm just going to show you guys, and by the time I'm done, you guys are just going to be like, oh yeah, that's what it does. The next thing we want to do is get a variable for email, so I'm going to make a variable called email x, and I'm going to set this, we can just copy this from now, it's really easy, email, and the last thing we want to do is make a variable called password x, and set that equal to, you guessed it, password. So what this is pretty much doing right here, it's pretty much saying, alright, I want to take wherever that result was, wherever they had that key, get their username, email, and password, and I want to set it to a name, email, and password that we can use for this program. So again, it pretty much just takes the data from your temporary database and turns them into variables that you can use in what we're going to be doing is putting it in our permanent database. But before we even do that, we want to do one more thing to test for spam, and we want to take out the spaces in their username. So for example, if they had something called Bucky and they put a space and it said Roberts, or they had a password that was like my mom space secret space 42, we want to take out all those spaces. And this is a security function that we do. So if someone like is going to try to use MySQL or something, like to insert, like as you can see from right here, this is MySQL and it has spaces in between them. If we take out all the spaces, then it's going to be incomprehensible to our computer. So if someone's trying to enter this and be a douchebag and enter all of this into their username, then we're going to say, alright, you're not going to be able to do that because we're going to take out your spaces right now. And this is how you do that. You need to change the variable. Let's first make a variable called name, and we're gonna take the variable name x and take out all the spaces in it. So here's how you do that. You have to put name equals, the built-in function is str underscore replace, and this stands for string replace. And in your parameters, the first thing you want to do is put what you want to replace. So put what's it called, apostrophe space apostrophe, and we want to replace it with apostrophe apostrophe. So this takes a space and replaces it with nothing at all, just a collapsed emptiness. And the next thing you want to do is put what where the string is that you want to replace. And of course this is name x, not name rx. So what this is going to do is take name x, strip all the spaces of it, and store it in the variable name. And of course we want to do this for email equals str underscore place, and of course just like before, apostrophe space apostrophe, we want to replace that with apostrophe apostrophe, and we want to do this to email x. And the last thing we want to do this for is password. There we go, password, and we want to replace password x. So now we want to use these variables instead of these variables. These variables can have spaces in it and they're insecure or unsecure. They're probably insecure too if they hate themselves. But anyways, these variables are a lot safer because they are MySQL free. So that is how you take the spaces out of your variables. And in the next tutorial, we're going to be taking these variables, which is data that the user inputted, and we're going to be inputting it into our permanent users table so that they can access that information and log into the game. So study this. Actually, you might want to just watch my next tutorial, and I'm going to have everything covered then. So take a look at this. Make sure how to take out spaces, and make sure you know what this function does, as I explained before. And once you're ready to move on, I will see you next time. And make sure to go to my website, thenewboston.com. If you have any questions, I'll answer them for you there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.